It's like dry wood. Dry wood doesn't bend, it's not smooth, dry wood doesn't grow, it doesn't spread, it is just something that can crack, can break. It's not supportive. And what happens with people who have a kind of dry liver is that they tend to be reactive. And this problem is fairly prevalent. So what's reactive? You walk into a room and you smell something that bothers you. And what do you kind of withdraw? Or, ooh, what's that? That reaction, as opposed to, I smell something. That reaction to it is from the liver wood being dry. So similarly, if somebody says something to you, you react real quickly. Why do you say that? You know, ooh. That tense reaction, that inability to just take a moment, have a kind of more smooth, thoughtful reaction to things, that's dry wood. And these kinds of reactions occur in all kinds of things. So substances that you encounter, substances that you ingest, things that you see, people that you encounter, and so on. So the person who's hyperreactive, the person that's hypersensitive, the person that has difficulties with lots of circumstances, situations, foods, drugs, etc., from this perspective, has a liver that is dry. And so to moisten the liver is partly the idea of replenishing the blood. Right? Blood deficiency has nothing to do with what you can measure in a laboratory, because it was defined without any laboratory analysis. Clearly, somebody who's very iron deficient or anemic, from the modern sense, is going to be quite pale and be cold and have conditions that may go with blood deficiency of the Chinese sense. The Chinese sense is much different. So, for example, one reason you can have pallor is because the blood circulation is drawn away from your face or from your skin, and so you look pale. Doesn't mean your hemoglobin is low. And therefore, this fits in the category of the Chinese medicine blood deficiency, whereas it doesn't fit in the modern medicine concept of blood deficiency. The central herbs of, I'm going to have to sip a little dry. Speaking too much of dryness, the central herbs for the liver are basically chai hu and bai shao. Chai hu and bai shao. You know how to use those herbs and then build around them. It will, I believe, give remarkable effect. Chai hu, which is unfortunately categorized with the surface relieving herbs, and it is a surface relieving herbs, has its greatest power in dredging the liver, making the stagnancy go away. So it's used for all kinds of depressed liver qi, including depression as we think of it today, mental depression. Bai shao, the white peony, is used for softening the liver. It is the blood tonic that's most preferred. It is even designated as a sour herb. And if you taste it, it's not sour, really. But it's designated as sour herb because it's so nourishing to the liver. So you hear of Dongwei and other blood tonics, Hushu and other blood tonics, but for regulating these functions of the liver, Bai shao is like the central herb. And if you can eliminate the dryness of the liver and encourage the growth from the liver, which is the spreading of the qi, you resolve a lot of the TCM-style liver problems. Now, here's the problem with chai hu, is it is actually quite a strong herb. even small doses of it have some effect on this liver qi. And by the way, for me to be saying that is quite something, because I'm always telling people about the fact that they use too little dose of everything. You got to use more. But Chai is a little bit different that way. And when the liver qi is released by Chai Hu, eventually it spreads throughout the body. But you know, its first natural direction is up, just like a tree growing up. And so, if you lack moisture, if you lack substance horizontally, so if you're skinny and a bit dry, and you take Chai Hu, even small amounts, it can give you adverse effects. Headaches, for example, red eyes. And it's not that it's toxic, it's not that it's not the right herb for you or anything like that, but in the dosage, in the formula, it's not right because of this particular dynamic that it has. It releases the liver qi rather drastically, and the liver qi tends to go up. So if you're a big round person, it doesn't matter because all that will keep it down. But if you're a skinny person, you have to be more careful. Just an example. The Bai Xiao is considered astringent. It kind of helps pull energy in. So the two of these herbs work with each other and to a certain extent oppose each other. So Chai Hu and Bai Xiao, just like Wei Zhi and Bai Xiao, balance each other. So Gui Shi Bai Xiao is the cinnamon peony pair that's used in Wei Zhi Tang to make sure the sweating at the surface is correct. And the Chai Hu Bai Xiao combination is what makes the proper control of the liver. So if you have a person who's responding too much to Chai Hu, you put in more Bai Xiao, will very likely solve the problem. Okay? For people that are sensitive to Chai Hu, there are substitute herbs that are used in Chinese medicine have the same kind of effect, but a much slower release of the qi. Now, why not use those all the time? Because it's too mild for some people who need a more drastic dredging of the liver qi. I think one that you learn of in school is Fang Feng, which I refer to as Siler. It's the same plant family. It's got similar kind of activity. It's also a surface relieving herb. So it's very similar to Chai Hu, but it just has a much milder reaction. So if you take Xiaoyasan and put in Fang Feng, it will still do the same thing, but much weaker effect. And for, I would say, the majority of cases where you want to use it, you don't want it to be that weak. But in some cases, if people are very reactive, maybe that's the best way to go. Possibly another one you've heard of is mentha, which is boha. Right? The field peppermint. It's kind of like spearmint, but not quite the same. And it's also a surface relieving herb. It has more of a cooling nature than a warming nature. But it too helps spread the liver qi. And another example is Yin Chen Hao, which is referred to as capillaris. It's an artemisia. If you're familiar with the artemisias, they make these beautiful, fluffy green growth in the spring. They really grow rapidly and fluffy, and they're very green, kind of blue-green almost sometimes. So it's really the liver color as well. And the artemisias in general regulate the liver qi. But in particular, the Yin Chen Hao is considered useful as a Chai Hu substitute. So that's another example where you can go with a milder herb formula. If you only put in the liver blood nourishing agents, so you use Dongwei, Bai Xiao, Chuanlong, Dihong, and so on. You moisten the liver, which allows the qi to flow.